Hi, you get 2 videos in one day. I finished the mini challenge in the challenge and posted my video, and now I am getting ready to show you this little beauty. And it is for the challenge that Dear Julie had for the month of June 2025. And it is a Just Junk Journal challenge. So let me get into what I have done here. Used a cereal box, a couple of them, and took the 2 pieces of the size of the box, glued them together for the front, and then I also made a separate piece for the spine here and curved it and put the little lines on the top and the bottom of it, and then also for the back. And after I had done that, I took texture paste and put texture paste through my stencil onto the cardstock, let that dry, gessoed it, and then the next day I had this beautiful hand towel, which is called a guest towel. That was very, very popular at one time to have those. And I loved the fact that it was this beautiful blue with the white on it, and there was enough to do the front and the back, but not enough to do the side. So I did the front and the back. This is the back, and I used the embroidery on the back because I knew I was going to be doing several things for the front. So you put that embroidery there, and when I glued this on, I used the bookmaker's glue and covered every inch of it, and then put this on top and rubbed it down really good, and it went right down into the texture of that stencil. And then I had a different towel that had this embroidery work on it, and so I added it to the spine because it was just on the edge. And then after I did that, I had this trim here that I thought was just really, really beautiful, and I love the colors of the blue. The rickrack was already on that trim, so I added it over the edge on both the front and the back to have the two come together. And so that is how I did that. Now on the front, I took the image. This digital that I used is from the Patreon, and Julie named the digital Big Blue because there are so many beautiful pages that are blue. And so I printed it out a couple of times, and the first copy I put on here was a copy that I did the sky and everything on here. I fussy cut when I printed this onto the cardstock. I fussy cut around everything, cutting out the sky, added the plastic on the first cover, first print, and then I put this over the top of it and glued it down so that it is like it is outside of the window of where the sky is. So that is how I did that one. And then this beautiful lace had a blue in it, and then also this trim. And what I have done on other journals is I take and I tie the bow and then sew the bow together so that you don't have to undo it all the time. All you have to do is just squeeze your journal and then slip this out from behind the button. And I had this beautiful, beautiful clear button that had some blue, and put a button then up behind it. And when I did the inside cover, I used again some more cereal box to reinforce this to make it really, really thick. And so when I did the cereal box on the inside here, I don't know if you can, let me adjust my light a little bit, maybe that will help you see that I did some metallic painting on this part of the cereal box. And then on this, I added the green gift wrap paper. And so with the gift wrap paper, before I did this cardboard, added it down, I went ahead and sewed, I cut this doily in half and sewed it on here and here and tacked it a little bit there so that it is a pocket on the front, and I did the other half is in the back so that you've got two pockets using the doily. And then I also had this small dresser scarf that is on the front and the back, and I glued it to the cardstock that is to the back, and that way it is glued in there really well. And I did that hidden spine again here like this, and when I did that, I sewed my signatures in starting from the inside out, or the outside in, and then that way all the knots and everything are in here in this part and not in the page, and so I didn't have to worry about putting any bows or knots or anything special in there. And also when I then glued it in, the material in, it is glued up underneath this, holding it in real good. All right, so I don't know if you can see the gold splatters. The way I did this is Julie's Digital. And the way I did it was I took paper towel, and I had torn the paper towel and covered up all of this part that I loved here, and then did the splatter on the page. And then I went back with the glossy accent and added that glossy accent onto the flowers to make the flowers glossy, and add a little bit of glitter. And so you'll see that on the front of each one of the signatures that I do use that technique on all of it. And then my printer doesn't print all the way to the edge, and so I used a stencil, the same stencil throughout, to add that blue around the edge. So you'll see that on the front and the back, and I printed her digital on the back also. And it was a blue sky. I loved it. It really fits in here, and you can use this then as a journaling page. We were to make some clusters, and so I used some broken jewelry for my cluster and a zipper on the edge, and also I had several little flower pieces that I glued together to make a trim, and added the beadwork in here from the broken jewelry, and this is from a doily that I added onto our digital to add that. And I also can then use it as a tuck in here. And I put it there because my shorter pages, it just holds those pages in that one spot. You don't have to, you can let them fly free if you want, but I thought that that was kind of nice that they will hold that in place. And then I also took her digital and printed it and cut it to where it would go on the page here. So the smaller ones are on my notebook paper that has been dyed. And then she has on her digital, she has journaling pages, and we were to make charms. And so I want to show you that this charm, we could use several things from the list. That this is from sewing, and so I put the hook and eye on the bottom here to hold everything in place. And so then here is the other part, and so it's got the safety pin, a button, her digital as my charm, and then the hook and eye with the thread. And so these are all, the only thing different is going to be her digital on each one is going to be a different one. So I won't have to point those out to you each time. I use some packaging paper here that is from like Amazon item that might have come, and so I stenciled on it, used a doily, and this is a double pocket, and so this is a coffee filter here, and I backed it with some music paper, and so that strengthens it, and added the digital to it. And so I've got those double pockets here that I can add things into. This, I used a recipe out of a recipe book and put that on here, and this is a napkin, and have a little charm here, and then this is off of a calendar. I get several of the Boys Town calendars, and so I had the calendar that I put on an advertisement card that came in the mail. So I put that there and sanded it down, but then this is another different calendar that I put there, and it opens. This is her digital, and here's a spot off of a calendar. No, this is from one of our banks, sent a notebook in the mail. So this is one of the notebooks, and some washi tape on the edge. Excuse me if I cough. Thank you for being patient with me. Here's another piece of that packaging, and some of my old school paper, and some of the, I still have some paper that Sarita had sent me a while back, and I'm probably a couple of years now, and I'm still using. I do use the paper diligently, but sparingly, because I know once it's gone, it's gone. I love her paper. So what I did was put that in the center and just folded it up in the middle, and added, we were to make edges, and each edge had to be from a different category. So this is the category that is with games, and so I used playing cards here, and then her digital, and some little floral rosettes, and some pieces off a vase, and a doily vest. It's another V word. So here's going this way. My napkin page that I did, and here is, this one is from fabric, I think, and so I've got antique buttons on all of them. I added the buttons. Wanted to keep that continuity going. And the back side of the doily, double pocket, and so I just filled it, like here's a receipt that I had, and then this tall tag, and another one of those charms, and I edged this one with washi and lace. And there again, I used her digital and tore it and added it to the page. Thank you guys for being patient about the sun coming in. I would never want to complain about the sun coming in. We've had quite a bit of rain. So, but I did want to point out it is shining. You didn't notice, did you? There's another one of those clusters that I made. And this is Julie's digital. And here is another part of the Big Blue digital, and my edge here, I hand sewed a broken necklace in here, and I've got this cameo, Julie's digital, and the buttons that are in here. And I love, look at those antique buttons. Can you see how awesome they are? Look at those. Oh. Yeah, that was hard to let go of. And then again, I did that on page. Used a old letter, and this is one of those certificates. The category was office, so this rusty pin, and open it, and you've got this that flips up, and this one flips down for journaling spot. And then, of course, you've got the pocket to put things in on this, and also the envelope. And it is attached to that certificate. And then I just folded that postcard up on this side and made just a little bit of a tuck. So that's the postcard that is on here. Went around. I don't want to keep you forever, so if I'm flipping through here looking, it's to spare you. We were to do the envelope where we had the double tuck here, and we were to fill it, and so I filled it with Julie's little digital. This is also her digital. I added this stationery here, and made a pocket, and then the card that is in it. We were to do cards with a job, and so this tall card with a job has got a belly band, and it also comes up like this, and I made this where it was permanent on there. That is a tuck that holds so that when you put things in your belly band, it doesn't fall all the way through. And the envelope flips around for you, so you can write on the back of it. I used part of, I don't know if you remember back in the day when we got the copy paper that went through the machine with these on it, so I used those. Made a large pocket here and used the atlas on there, the pin, and I made that a little itty bitty tiny pocket with an envelope in it. And I filled my pockets with a lot of ephemera that was from Tim Holtz. I have a packet and thought, well, I can do that. I usually, you know, do a lot of work on those, but I thought, I've got it, use it. So, right? We need to stop hoarding, Sandy. So I took the doily, and this was a really cool technique. You guys probably already knew about it. I took the doily and I used on my coffee filter, I took the Heat and Bond Light. Thank you, Sandy, for remembering that. And I ironed this on, and while it was hot, I sprinkled the Ranger's, the gold embossing powder. And it stuck to where the glue was at from the Heat and Bond Light. Then I put the wax paper over the top of it and ironed it again, and it melted the gold just in the area that is not the doily. And so I got pretty excited. You guys probably already knew that you could do that. I had no idea, but I got pretty excited. And so then I went around and took around the edge and got the coffee filter off of the edge so it would look all foofy, but it's backed with the coffee filter. And then I added it to the certificate paper. And then this is my tag that I made. And so I printed her, and I printed her on vellum. And she is a shaker card. And so that is a card with a job. She is a shaker card. And so I've got some glitter in there and added, Dorothy had given me these beautiful flowers. The sun is going down on me. I'm not sure what's going on here. So there we go. Can you guys see that? Is that too dark? Seems like it's pretty dark. Did you see my thumb come at you? I thought if I tapped the screen, look, it's light again. I bet the sun went behind one of those clouds that was bringing rain to us for the last 3 days. Alrighty. Yep, went through and marked those up. All right, now this one with the angel. I took the glossy accent and I used the glitter. I like pulling this out and showing everybody because this stuff is awesome. This glitter right there, that distress glitter. Simply wonderful, darling. Simply wonderful. All right. And charms. This one I did a belly band using a card. I think it had to be a belly band with a job. So it has a pocket here, and I have an antique card here, and I did the that embossing gold, but when I put it, I like to add it on there with the glue stick, and so I rub the glue stick at random and sprinkle that gold on and heat it, and so that way it's just random around the edge. And then Julie's Digital here, I lined it with some paper so that you could use that. And then on the page is tissue paper, and it is also got a belly band. And so this is a white sack that I used, and so I love the sound of that. And I sewed all the way around it to give it strength. Added this lace on the bottom here with trim, and so I've got the little pocket here. And this one is an envelope with a job here. When I put this little tag on here, it actually holds this closed. And there was a book that I had gotten that had a lot of pages that had the old tape on it, so I pulled the tape off because the page wasn't any good, but I saved the tape and then I glued it on here. So that is actual vintage tape that has been yellowed on its own. And I lined this with some tissue paper that Capra had sent me something with it. And this is wrapping paper here. This is Julie's Digital. And then I made a little notebook that goes inside it. I am not sure on the list of things we were supposed to make exactly which one that was, but that was one of the things we were supposed to make. So I'm not putting things back where it belongs. You should see me after I'm done making videos. I'm a mess trying to find where the spots are. I have to actually go back and watch my own video. I turn off the sound so I don't have to hear myself. Sorry, you have to hear me. So here we go. This pocket here is another one of Julie's digitals. We had to do the cluster, and I put that zipper along the edge here, and I hand beaded in the middle of the flower to create some interest. And that's another part. I cut it into fourths, so there's that part. And then we were supposed to do a envelope that had 4 pockets. So we've got the pocket here and here, and then here and here, and we were to fill the pockets. So this is I think AARP card that I have with calendar page, and this is part of that calendar page too. And there was some packaging that I don't know if you guys get it, but the packaging has that where it's woven, and so I did that as the bark here and on here. And this one, I had a catalog that was selling 2 pictures that had these, and so that's from a catalog. And this again is from the calendar. And so I've got my blue peacocks in there too. Here's the other peacock that I didn't buy the picture, but I sure used the magazine. And then there is one of her digitals that is an envelope. And so I got that in there. The angel walking by the church. Oh, it's got to go this way. You can see it through the window then of that envelope. And see, there's the angel. All right, this is getting way too long. There's the cluster, and here I did a fabric flip little notebook, and there's a charm that I made on here. And so it's just scraps of paper, fabric flip. All right, and then this is for my sewing box edge, and use those. And I smashed every one of them down so that they would not tear up that page. And this one, I added the glossy accent to the flowers, added glitter into the middle of it, and then also did the glossy accent here on my butterfly. did the fabric flip up, flip down. So there's the, comes up and then goes down, and then it is also a pocket. And this is another one of the edges, and we were to do 6, so this one was a random one, so I just used the sewing box again, added the safety pins and buttons and the digital and the tape here. This one I think is the garment, and then the pocket with the frame and flowers. And I made this in the center of that. And this is a cloth pocket or fabric pocket using a hanky, and one of my tags with a job, and so it has a pocket on the back. I'm glad you guys are still hanging out with me. Here's another, and there you can see the zipper along the edge there, and I beaded in the center of the flowers with those little beads. And this is the last signature, and you can see where all of the glitter is with the glossy accents, so that it just does not come off at all. And the other side of that is the clouds. And then they have the doily and the coffee filter, and then the page here. And this is an envelope pocket that comes up. You can put something in here. It's also got this where it holds it closed. And Julie's digital, and then I had this butterfly that I added on there. This was out of a book that is it's supposed to flip up, and you've got journaling spot here, and this is Julie's digital, and the tag is Julie's digital also. And this is antique paper that I had. And then this pocket is Julie's digital with the sunflower, and I love this, was out of the calendar, and so I just fussy cut around the bird and put it on there, and it's like the sunflowers, like the sun coming up behind them, and it's a double pocket. I've got this pocket on top of this piece of envelope. I love the way the envelope, the inside of the envelope was that beautiful blue. And the last of my charms is here with a piece of a butterfly that was off of a garment. And this piece right here is from Susan Taylor Brown. And I had made this little book using Julie's digital. And it actually opens up to where you can write on those pages. Write small, and then put some lace and some trim on that pocket, and it flips up so you can write on here too. So that's my fabric flip pocket, and I put this card in here that has this beautiful blue bird to go with the blue page. And that is the end of the journal. There you go. I hope that you enjoyed it, and that there was something in there that might have inspired you, because ladies, you always inspire me. And this is the tassel that I made with broken jewelry and yarns and threads and just all kinds of cool things that went in there. So you have a wonderful day, and thank you for putting up with me for a whole half hour, even with the sun coming in and it getting dark there for a minute. And I thought maybe I had a brain tumor. Oh, look at my hair. It's supposed to be behind my ear, make me look prettier. Okay, well, what do you think? You guys gonna do that texture? Is that not absolutely? I didn't know I could do that. So I want you to know there was a whole lot of surprises in this journal that just really, I'm like, you're kidding me. I can put gold embossing powder and use the iron instead of that heat gun. And I had no idea. So yeah, give it a try. It was fun. There she is. She's for sale. Give me a holler. Put it in the comments. Big Mama, get a hold of me, and I will. I love you guys. Bye-bye.